I want to talk to you about writing too. And you said that Sidney Sheldon was sort of an eye-opener for you.
Yeah.
I think you described it as the Hardy Boys for adults.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. In school, I read all the classics, you know, through high school and university. As a kid, I'd read the Hardy Boys. But I really had read no adult thrillers. I just sort of assumed that adults read classics. I didn't really know about this other genre. My wife and I were down at Tahiti, and I found a copy of Sidney Sheldon's Doomsday Conspiracy on the beach, read it, and thought, wow, you know, this is fast-paced and fun and interesting, and you know, maybe I could do something like this.
Is that what drove you to write?
No, I had been writing long before that.
Okay.
But it really was what gave me the idea to write thrillers. This idea that reading can be a whole lot of fun. I enjoyed that book. It was light and it was simple, but it was very suspenseful, and that intrigued me.
Will Robert Langdon be around for a while?
Oh, let's hope so. That's right.
You're going to stick with him.
I think so.
The Lost Symbol, I think you were writing it when the Da Vinci Code struck,
Sure.
right, when it hit big.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to me how a writer follows something that's very successful. When you're in the process of writing and this thing hits, I'm just wondering if it changed your approach to writing. Put more pressure on you, maybe?
Of course, yeah. For a very short period of time, 2 or 3 weeks, after Da Vinci Code kind of exploded, and I realized, wow, The Lost Symbol is going to have a bit of a bigger audience than I anticipated. I was very self-aware all of a sudden, as you know, would be understandable.
Sure.
That you say every word I write is going to be seen by millions of people. And I worked through that over the course of just a few weeks, and then realized the writing process is the same. You know, I still start with a blank screen, and my characters don't carry how many books I've sold, and I'm just right back to writing as usual.
That's pretty remarkable, though, that you were able to put that to bed in just a couple weeks.
Maybe, I don't know. It was the writing process is very familiar to me, and so I just gravitated back to really that old friend where you're all alone writing a story. It's
Back
fine.
to the comfort zone.
Back to the comfort
security
zone.
blanket.
Yeah.
You've said, too, that the Da Vinci Code changed your life, obviously, in many ways, most of them positive, which begs the question, what was the least positive?
Oh, well, I'm a fairly private person, and I sacrificed a fair amount of privacy when the Da Vinci Code came out. And you know, on balance, I'm happy to give it up for all the wonderful things that have happened. It makes research a little bit tricky, in that you can't just sort of walk in and say, hey, I'm writing a book, you know, what can you tell me?
Right.
Because
You have to break out the costumes? When
exactly,
you put
yeah.
on a phony
Yeah,
mustache?
Yeah, well, not quite that bad, but lots of baseball hats and sunglasses.
Are you recognized on the street?
Sure, I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of depends where, but yeah.
How's that work for you?
Fine. I mean, most people, actually, with the exception of one person in the last 6 years, everybody who's come up to me has been a fan and has just said, thank you, I loved your book. And there was one individual who didn't care for what I'd written in the Da Vinci Code and
Came right up and told
gave
you?
me a piece of her mind.
Really?
That's right.
And how'd you answer her?
Just politely.
Yeah. There's a den of gratitude in your home, or what's the
Oh, a
name?
Fortress of Gratitude.
Fortress of Gratitude. What's that about?
Well, that is a library that contains probably 500 or so books, one copy of every edition of my books that have been published around the world. So, you know, I have 5 books, but they come out in hardcover, paperback, you know, movie tie-in editions, and so there are many, many books, and it's just a reminder of the great, you know, the good fortune that I've had and all the great relationships I've made with foreign publishers around the world.
Nice to walk in there and just look around.
Well, it's a good reminder of all the great stuff that's happened.
Is that where you keep your anti-gravity boots?
No, no, it isn't actually. That's in my I write in a cottage, away from the house. No email, no internet access, no fax, no phone, and that's where the gravity boots are.
And so you will put those on, hang upside down. Now I think of Richard Gere.
Yeah, I look just like Richard
Do you?
Gere. Exactly.
Upside down.
Exactly.
Yeah. How does that help? Does it help you write though? It helps you think?
You know what? It's funny. It really it gets a lot of blood flow to the head, but it's a different perspective. You're hanging upside down. You're seeing the world through a different lens, and I think you think differently. I mean, I may be crazy, but I've solved a bunch of good problems hanging upside down.
Well, if it works for you, it works.
That's right.
How often are you upside down?
2 or 3 times a day, but
Yeah,
for
really?
short periods of time,
Right.
a couple minutes.
And then you're right back at it.
Yeah.
Early morning writer?
4 a.m., 7 days a week.
Every day.
Yeah.
Could you not be a writer, do you think?
I'm trying that right now. It's not working so well.
Really?
That's right.
Kind of difficult to be
Well,
around?
I've just got a lot of, I'm impossible, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of ideas, and just fine, I'm up early writing them down.